Today, we're celebrating local talent, big dreams, and the stories that need to be told. Diodanis Moquette is a Sac State alum, a Tyler Perry Dream Collective top director, and the filmmaker behind Little Mamba, a short film inspired by a young Kobe Bryant. But he's not stopping there. Diodanis is also the creator of the Northern California Film and Media Summit. He's here to tell us all about it. Good to have you on the show, Diodanis.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, okay. So Little Mamba, can you tell us about it? What can people expect when they tune in and watch it?
Yeah, so Little Mamba is a short film that's inspired by the life of Kobe Bryant as a kid when he came over to America from Italy. And it's really just a story about what do you do when your back's against the wall and no one believes in anything that you do. And so it's that mixed with 90s hip hop nostalgia with original hip hop tracks and just really, once again, just a story about believing in yourself.
Yes, and what made you, because I've seen films and documentaries on Kobe, but you chose to tackle him in his childhood. Why was that?
Yeah, it allowed us to take some creative liberties with some of the stories. So it's inspired, it's not verbatim exactly what happened in his life. Yeah. But really, I mean, just for me as a kid growing up, I think Kobe Bryant was one of my heroes, right? He was one of the few African Americans that we could see on screen that was portraying someone of power and influence that would influence and inspire his friends, his family, people around the world. And so I wanted to be able to kind of show that inspirational story that he had as a kid where, you know, it doesn't matter exactly where you come from, you can still find your power.
Yeah, I think you did a brilliant job of that. I've gotten to see bits and pieces of it and just how it's shot, how it looks, how it's filmed. What was it like working with the cast that you put together for this film?
Oh man, it was such a dream. It was a lot of firsts for me, for sure. And so it was the first time doing stunt work like we did. So we had some stunt people that came up from Los Angeles. It was our first time working with a LED wall of that magnitude at Goal Line Studios. And so it was a lot of firsts for me. It was very interesting. You know, shout out to the cast and the crew, obviously, for that. Most of the dialogue is like nonverbal. So it's mostly visual storytelling. But yeah, it was a dream, and I was very blessed to be having a good support team with me.
Yeah, and people will see those hidden gems throughout Sacramento where portions of that film is shot.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, I understand you're the creator of a film summit with an event this summer. Can you tell us about it?
It's the Northern California Film and Media Summit. That'll be in Livermore, California on June 27th. We're gonna have 3 film workshops. We're gonna have 3 panels. Some of our panelists include people who work at Netflix, Pixar, Skywalker, and an Emmy-nominated cinematographer. Wow. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a full day of inclusivity, and we're excited to have it.
Yeah, why was it important to you to create kind of this summit where people can learn the education and behind the scenes of what it takes to make films and movies? Why was that important for you to have here?
Yeah, education was very important to me because I was so bad at it growing up. It wasn't really until I was in college where I got to flourish while I was studying things I was more interested in and was able to graduate with honors. So for me, I'm always thinking about who are the people out there that are the late bloomers who haven't found, you know, what it is that they're magnetized towards. And so I just wanted to create opportunities for people in a place where it feels like sometimes it wasn't built for us.
Yeah. Okay, so understanding you a little bit more better now, seeing snippets from your film, Little Mamba, and hearing that you're also wanting to help educate people so that they're doing the same thing as well. Who are some filmmakers that inspired you to do what you're doing now?
Some filmmakers that inspire me. I mean, Ryan Coogler, who, you know, we went to Sac State so he's a big inspiration. I would say Jordan Peele is like huge right now of just being able to have really just African-American ownership of content, which I think is kind of where we're kind of going towards today.
Diodanis, can you tell us what inspired you to become a filmmaker yourself?
You know, the thing I think that we're missing in the world right now is empathy. And so typically when we go to a movie theater and you're seeing a horror movie, you'll see the movie monster on screen jump out towards the character on screen, and our reaction is typically what? Like, to scream,
Yes.
yeah, right? If you're me, both. Or you'll see, you know, a love story about someone who you cared about on screen that you really develop this love for, and you see that they lose somebody, right? And then usually, how do we react to that?
Crying.
We usually cry, right?
Yeah.
And so film has this kind of magical thing where we're allowed to forget that it's not real.
Yeah.
And so I think for me as a filmmaker, living in that space where we can then become, we can shape ourselves to becoming the best versions of ourselves. And I want to live in that space. That is what inspires me to be a filmmaker.
Well, it's an honor to meet you, Adonis, and to tell people about your film. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more information. You can get the latest from Sacramento filmmaker Adonis Moquette by following him on Instagram at DAdonisM.